How you doing, Tom? Listen, Trump's memo on religious freedom in schools shouldn't be a problem for you.
It wasn't schools. It was the federal workplace.
Okay, federal workplace. Either way. What's wrong with that? You know, I'm a Christian Catholic, and I believe that I should live by the golden rule. What's wrong with that?
I'm not Catholic, but I'm a Christian also, Billy. What's wrong as an employer? I would find it disruptive if I had an employee who was constantly trying to convert other people to his, to his satanic religion or to Islam or to, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I have no problem if somebody says, "Hey, I'm a Catholic," or "I'm a Christian," or, it's the right thing to do, or, comments in passing. But this memo specifically says evangelizing is okay. And, I think that it would be disruptive.
Tom, nobody's making sermons in the workplace. In my workplace, your workplace, anybody else's workplace.
But they just got authorized. Your boss could now be trying to convince you that you have to become a certain religion. And, you might feel like that's not, I don't want my boss telling me that.
As a former Christian minister, Tom, you should recognize that bearing false witness is a sin. Shouldn't you?
Sure. Certainly one of the Ten Commandments.
The problem is not the religion. The problem is the way people of your ilk and you are defining religion as evangelizing, or as, people are been persecuted in the federal workplace in past years because they wear a cross or a Star of David.
There's no rule against that. I don't know of anybody who's ever been persecuted for that.
People on your side have described wearing a Christian T-shirt as hate speech, and you know it.
Maybe somebody said that. They're not my people, Billy.
But you're on their side of the fence, Tom, and you know you are, and you should not. It's not the religion, Tom, that's the problem. It's the lying that's the problem.
What I'm talking about here is not being religious or expressing religious sentiment. I'm talking about evangelizing, trying to convert people from one religion to another in the workplace. I don't have any problem with evangelism on television, on radio, on the street corner, in churches, talking to your best friend. I've been there, done that. But in the workplace, it seems like the whole point of the workplace is to get the damn job done, Billy, not to be trying to, if somebody wants to be preached at, they go to church or synagogue.
So if I were in my federal job, I walk into the workplace with a cross on. Is that evangelizing?
No. That's an expression. That's an expression of your religion, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there never was.
But people have been.
I don't know of anybody who has. I'm guessing there was probably some left-wing nutcase who went off on it, and Fox News turned it into a 3-day story. But I've never heard of it.
Well, praise the Lord, you said left-wing nutcase. And
there are left-wing nutcases, and there's right-wing nutcases. I mean, there's obviously extremes all over this thing. But nobody, to the best of my knowledge, nobody is saying that people shouldn't be able to express their religions, people shouldn't be able to wear a cross or a Star of David or a yarmulke or even a little statue of Satan around their neck. I mean, those are personal religious expressions. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is your boss sitting you down and giving you a 20-minute lecture on why you need to become fill in the blank. You're Catholic, Billy. How would you feel if your boss in the workplace tried to convince you that Catholicism, that the Pope was the Antichrist and that you really needed to follow Martin Luther and become a Lutheran?
Well, we have that conversation away from the workplace.
No, but I'm talking about in the workplace.
Well, nobody's going to have that conversation.
But the Office of Personnel Management just authorized this, and they used the word evangelize.
You do anything to disrupt the workflow in the workplace, you're going to be called on the carpet. That's just the way it is.
No, now you've got the absolute right to do this, Billy, under this policy.
No.
And that's my point. I think we're agreeing it would be disruptive.
That's not what the memo says. The memo says that you should be able to express your belief without fear of being
I'll read to you from the memo. Employees may engage in conversations regarding religious topics with fellow employees, including attempting to persuade others of the correctness of their own religious views. That's verbatim.
Okay, fair enough. And if I tell you, okay, talk about this, or I don't agree with you, that's when you should stop. And when you don't stop,
I agree.
You become.
And if you don't stop, you're harassing somebody. But this memo allows for that harassment. They're throwing a bone to the Franklin Grahams of the world, to these wealthy so-called Christians, and I just think it's wrong. Billy, I got to run. I'm sorry, I'm out of time. Always good talking with you. Thanks for the call.